As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
That's right, guys, we're back. Christina's joining me again, and we're going to be talking about a brand new movie that just hit the theaters, and that is, of course, the sequel to Zombieland
Double Tap.
We went to go see it just a few days ago, and we're actually recording late. We're actually recording right before I stream. Everything got kind of pushed sideways when the internet went down, and I couldn't do anything.
You know what we have to do?
What?
We have to give an update on Patrick.
Yeah.
They have not had the baby yet.
Yes.
I know she's past her due date.
Yeah, Patrick hits me up, like, on the phone. He's like, dude, call me back. You know, like, I tried calling you or something like that. And I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, maybe he had the baby. And he's like, dude, did you see that movie? And I was like, what the fuck, man? Like... Is Kelly alive? Is she okay? Is she a part of the equation here, Patrick, or what?
Right, and I talked to Kelly too, and she's just like, she's not ready for the baby, but she's ready to not be pregnant.
Yeah, I would be too, yeah.
Right, yeah, I would too.
That's a lot to carry around, a lot of like not sleeping perfectly, and although she seems like she's like dealt with it better than most people I know. Right. To be honest.
I think so too.
Like I've seen like most people that are like, oh my back, and like she's just like, hey guys, what's up? Where's the vodka? No, I'm just kidding. No, she doesn't drink, guys. Please don't drink while you're pregnant. Or you'll end up with a child like me. No, my mom never drank while I was doing it. But who knows? They might have smoked cigarettes back then. I'm so fucking old, you know?
My mom drank and smoked.
Back in the day, my parents used to work in the coal mine while pregnant, you know?
At the coal mine.
She was huffing fucking coal down there. That's why I got black lung as a baby.
But anyway, guys, so we've just been doing a few things behind the scene. I didn't get to put out as many YouTube videos this week, but please, definitely, if you haven't already followed that, you should be now, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff on there as kind of like a, you know, an extra BTV thing, you know, because like we do the podcast each week, and that may be enough for you guys, but, you know, we have extra reviews that I want to do. I feel ultra guilty when I watch a movie these days. Like it's been a curse for me doing the podcast in some ways, because one, when I watch a movie, I want to like study one, you know, just naturally, like because I write all these reports
over research on it.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm sure I probably do a lot, but whatever. I think that's important.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I find it interesting. But the same thing is that if I watch a horror movie, I feel like I have to do something with it. So I don't even get to watch them in my like free time without feeling guilt.
Right.
So today I watched a movie, Burial Ground, Nights of Terror, just for me, and I felt it was hard.
Wait, that was
It was hard. I was like, maybe we should watch this for next week.
That's exactly because you're like, we're going to review this movie next week, so you better watch it. And I'm like, what? Like, so you didn't just watch, you had it in the back of your head that you liked it enough that you wanted to review it.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that in Nightmare City, but to be honest, I think we did both before. And I was like, we can't do 2 episodes back to back. That might have been something we did in the past. I mean, yeah, it's been 3 years and not everybody's listened to our whole catalog, but I've got to start keeping track now, I think.
You gotta start that Excel sheet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we... And guys, surprise, surprise, you're going to want to know what we're going to be doing at the end of this episode. So we'll tell you what we're going to be watching for next week. So even if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, check in at the very end to see what we're going to be watching next week. We picked a couple of interesting ones. I don't want to spoil it just yet. I'll tell you at the end.
Oh, good. I can't wait to hear because I already forgot.
Well, you never heard of them. She's like, let's watch The Prophecy. Let's watch all these big movies. I'm like, fuck you. We got to do yours last week. Let's do mine this week. I like to go back to the 80s, guys. So, and the cheesier, the better sometimes.
Some of those are torture, though.
No, you have fun. You have learned to enjoy bad horror movies with me now.
I know I have.
Because we make so many jokes when we watch those.
We have a good time.
We do. We laugh a lot.
Right.
We've had crying fits because we're laughing so hard.
Right.
So
We have.
yeah, you guys should pay admission and come over. But how is things with you in your week? Have you been doing anything interesting or watching anything special?
Let's see. Not really. I wanted. Has anybody seen The Perch? That Facebook show?
The Birch.
Oh, The Birch. Sorry. What did I say? Perch? The bird. Well, I knew it had something to do with a tree, right? Like
maybe a bird shits on its head.
Yeah,
I don't know. It looks like a nest on top of its head.
Have you watched that?
No, but it's on Facebook Watch. I know other friends have.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody needs to tell us how that is because I might go check it out.
Well, and I've also been thinking about doing like series on the YouTube channel because like at the end of me doing Creep Show, the whole season, I'm going to be doing something every week. And I think I need to do something. So I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I kind of like doing anthology sort of like little short story ones like weekly because it's just fun that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? So
I was going to mention maybe you and me should do Ghost Adventures.
Oh my God. Everybody's like cringing right now. They're like, they're raising their fists. Oh, bro, did you hear that, bro?
We have fun.
All right, guys,
with them.
we're not afraid to share our enjoyment of Ghost Adventures, but I don't know if we should do a podcast about it. You know, that might be a bit much.
You're right. Oh, like a YouTube thing on it.
Right? Yeah. Like you know, I don't know. Like I think I want to like expose people to cinema more than I do. Or like film.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Right. They don't need our help.
Right.
Next on Ghost Adventures, serial killers' moms. Where are they? And can we find them? Like
that's
first,
seriously what's going on right now.
I know
it's
that's
ridiculous.
Okay, guys, we are fans of the show, and we get shit on all the time by people because they're like, "Oh, it's so stupid.
It's not real.
It's not real."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, yeah, but
who cares? It's funny as shit." Like,
well, and sometimes I really don't know because of our own personal experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm open to the idea, and because of the breadth of quality I see on there versus other shows, and believe me, guys, we watch a lot of different paranormal shit. And those are that is actually by far, even though we make fun of them sometimes when we watch the show, it's one of the better ones for us, I think, right?
Because it's entertaining all around. It's even the boring episodes like this season, this October season.
But the point I was trying to make is that they got this new serial killer ghosts one, and it's like, it's already pretty hard to find ghosts. Like trying to like specifically pick a type of ghost to go hunting for is a little too much there.
But they're just trying to wheel in on the true crime way.
Well, right. He's a big fan of that.
Serial killers,
right?
And stuff like that.
So he probably just wanted to incorporate it because if you've gone to his museum, he's got a huge like display full of like serial killer shit. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's pretty interesting. But anyway, moving on. I think it might be that time.
Oh shit!
Horrorshots! All right, guys, so before we get into our spoiler-free review of Zombieland, we're going to be doing our horror shot section, which, like I mentioned last week, Christina made up. It was her idea, so welcome, creator. Well,
you're welcome.
it's not even my show
I don't
anymore. I
even
might as
know.
well. Hey, I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Whatever, fuck.
Oh, good. Let's make this shit good. No.
Oh, woo, getting spicy. Anyway, guys, so we watched Zombieland Double Tap, essentially Zombieland 2, and we decided to make a shot based around some of the ingredients of the movie, as we do on all of our horror shots for the most part, unless we're just bored or lazy. But I don't
Can't think of anything.
most of the time we're pretty clever. But,
Yeah.
So in the movie, and I'm not really spoiling anything, they go to Tennessee. There's a specific spot that they go to in Tennessee that I won't mention what it is, but they go to Tennessee, and I figured, well, since they're in Tennessee in this movie, we might as well basically do a couple of different types of Tennessee liquor.
Clever.
And so I picked George Dickel Rye. Yeah.
What George? What is that? What? George Dickel Rye? What is that?
It's a whiskey in Tennessee.
Oh, it's a Tennessee. Okay, I've never heard of it. That's a weird name.
Now, some people who are whiskey connoisseurs are probably going to freak out when I tell you what I'm going to mix in with it, but because it's a rye and a sour mash, so just don't freak out. Just trust me, okay? You're basically going to pour this into a shaker. You don't have to do it with ice. It's just to mix it, just some sort of mixer. You put 1 ounce of George Dickel Rye Whiskey, 1 ounce of Jack Daniels, and 1 ounce of Amaretto Liquor. And you mix them up together, and you should have enough for 3 shots.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds disgusting.
You put in 3 shots, you get 3 shots.
Okay.
But yeah, so what you're going to do next, and part of the reason we put Amaretto Liquor in this is because what you're going to say before you shoot it. But before you do, you're going to put a little fucking mini cocktail umbrella in the top. And that is significant in the movie, which we'll bring up later. But for those of you who have seen it, so let me just repeat that since you might have gotten lost along the way. 1 shot George Dickel Rye Whiskey, 1 shot of Jack Daniels, 1 shot of Amaretto Liquor. Put a mini cocktail umbrella on top. And before you shoot, once you pour them out from the mixer, of course, you say, nut up or shut up.
Nut up or shut up.
That's right.
Yep.
And that is called a Hound Dog.
That sounds disgusting. And I hope somebody does it. Please, someone do
Christina's,
this.
Yeah, she's one of our marketing execs over here at the big corporate office of BTV, a.k.a. our secondary bedroom. Our P.O. box. No, but if you would like to try a Hound Dog, all you have to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our hashtag horror shots section now. That's it for horror shots. All right, guys, so now we're going to jump into our spoiler-free review of Zombieland Double Tap. Don't worry, we won't spoil anything. We will give you an alarm that is about 20-30 seconds long that'll let you know before we get into the spoilers, so don't worry. But we're going to go ahead and jump into Zombieland
Double Tap.
spoiler-free review.
Right now.
All right, guys, so Christina did all the work on all the people that are in the movie and everything before we get into our thoughts. So why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
All right. Zombieland Double Tap.
Yeah, I was going to say Double Tap.
I wasn't going to miss it. 2019. Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and Little Rock move to an American heartland as they face off against evolved zombies, fellow survivors, and the growing pains of the snarky makeshift family.
Ooh.
And this movie's, of course, taking place in 2019. And originally, the original movie was 10 years prior in 2009.
And it is actually, like in reality, that far ahead.
Yeah. So this was directed by Ruben Fleischer, and he has also directed, well, of course, he directed the first Zombieland, and he's also directed Venom. He has also directed episodes and is the executive producer of Superstore, the TV show.
Yeah, I saw that. He had like
like
46 episodes.
Yeah. But
pretty much the whole season. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then he also directed 2 episodes of the Santa Clarita Diet, and he's also directed, I thought this was funny. He's directed a couple of episodes of Between Two Ferns with
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah. I thought that was funny.
It's weird how people like kind of like mingle in the
Right.
Hollywood world.
Well, they all kind of stick together, which I think is a good thing because if you work good with somebody,
Well, he is a comedy
know.
director, I guess, for the most part. I don't know. Like, he's gotten more stuff from, like, comedy. Like,
Right.
You know, he obviously loves comedy.
exactly.
Which is interesting because the interviews you see of him, he's very, like, serious. So, but anyway.
So he got back together with the writers who were Rhett Reese and Paul Warnick. The two of them they wrote the scripts for both the Deadpool movies and of course the first Zombieland, and then this time for Double Tap they brought on writer Dave Callahan, and he wrote Godzilla from 2014, and then he also wrote the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984 movie that comes out next year called Wonder Woman 1984.
Right. Plus, I think he's doing the Shang-Chi and the Legend of 10 Rings Marvel Comics movie. So.
Oh, that's a comic movie?
Yeah, it's one of
I
the
didn't
ones
know
that they timeline of the stuff that they're going to be doing.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway.
I don't remember. All right, the actors in the movie. New actor Zoe Deutsch, who plays a new character called Madison. She was most recently in the TV show The Politician. I think she's still in that show. And then she's been in episodes of NCIS, Criminal Minds, and The Suit Life on Deck. Abigail Breslin, who plays Little Rock. She was an Academy Award nominee for the movie Little Miss Sunshine. Remember that movie from 2006?
Yeah, I forgot she was in it. I didn't even know.
Right. Yeah, I know. And then her face, like when you see her face, you recognize the face.
Right.
And I also forgot she was in Scream Queens. She played Chanel No. 5.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I thought she was also in Fear Inc., that one crappy movie. She was also in Final Girl from 2015. Not Final Girls.
Well, we picked it up recently.
Final Girl. Oh, did we?
Yeah,
Oh,
we bought
need
it on DVD
to- Oh, we need to watch that.
for $1.
So I pretty much think we know everybody else on the cast. Emma Stone, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, that's
so-
probably good. Everybody knows them anyway. So.
Right. And then, of course, Rosario Dawson's in this, so I'm pretty sure we all know her. And also Luke Wilson. Somebody I didn't know, Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah, he was in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, he was in Silicon Valley. And he was in Final Girls. The one with
Oh,
the S.
yeah, yes, which he was really good in, actually.
Yeah, and he plays Flagstaff. And then a guy named Evan Jaga, he plays Berkeley, but he was in the King Tut TV movie from a couple years ago.
I have no idea.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the only thing I really saw on him. And
Well, he wasn't bad in the film, but
right, he wasn't bad at all. I didn't think he did his role good.
okay.
So, what did you think about the movie?
I have some opinions that may be upsetting to some and some that are actually pretty surprising. So it's kind of like a mix of the two. Like right off the bat, I just want to briefly explain to you guys that about my thoughts on the first film, and I'm sure Christina will too. I wasn't over the moon about it, the first movie, as everyone else was. Like, I wasn't, like, freaking out about it. I was always a fan of, like, Shaun of the Dead and, other zombie films, but they had some pretty big shoes to fill in 2009 after all of the different horror zombie movies that we had, because we've been zombied to death, pretty much, right? You know what I mean? I still enjoyed it, that being said, but it just fell a little flat for me. Like, I still would say that it's probably like a 7 or a 7.5, but it just didn't blow me away. There's some good things about it, but it drags in other areas. So I thought the characters in the movie, in the first one, were interesting. The movie kind of overpromised in its trailers and even in the intro of the movie to me. It's like the first one had all these like amazing cool shots that used up in about 5 minutes of the intro. I like the funny bits about the rules and, of course, the zombie kills of the week from the first film. But, those kind of get phased out as the movie progressed for me. Like, it felt like it wasn't part of the film anymore. As omnipresent, as it was maybe in this new one, which we'll get into that. But I felt a little misled by that movie when I first saw it, because I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so wild. Like, they're going to be all over the place running around. This is going to be like Dawn of the Dead remake or something, But I don't know. It didn't hit all of it, but I still like the characters. I still like the ideas that they had in it, and I still enjoy the movie. And that's why I own it. Zombieland as itself is a very nostalgic movie because they're kind of reminiscing on things that they loved in their past and things that they like. Like in the first movie, they talk about the Twinkies. He talks about, all these things that they had to let go of. So it's kind of a nostalgic movie in that way. But I'm almost certain that the movie may have probably started the whole Twinkie revolution, like no joke.
What do you mean Twinkie revolution?
Years ago, they were talking about shutting down Twinkie, the actual product Twinkie.
Oh, yeah.
And then some other company bought it and then put it back out, remember?
Uh-huh.
I think that part of the reason that they put it back out was because of this movie.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but people weren't thinking about Twinkies until that fucking movie came out. And then it was like, wait, what? I'm not saying that everybody went out and bought Twinkies every day for like years and years or whatever, but I'm pretty sure part of the nostalgia of Twinkie was also wrapped up in that movie. But anyway, now as far as Double Tap, much better to me. Like, I laughed a lot more on this one than I did the first one. All the pitfalls I think the first movie had, or maybe under-delivered or underused, that I wanted to see more of, this one delivers on that much more for me.
Uh-huh.
A lot of new characters in this one, which, when I first saw the trailer, made me think to myself, oh God, this may be too much. This may be too hokey. To be honest, the first trailer I saw, I wasn't even interested at all. Mm-hmm. And so when I went in to go see this movie, I was like really like not interested that much. But I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe it could be better. But it didn't actually make it all hokey and ruin it at all. In fact, I actually liked some of the new characters. One in particular that I should have been annoyed by, but absolutely loved, and is a new character called Madison. I won't tell you what her character is about or what she is, but you'll know when you see the movie. You'll be like, oh, okay. And I've already heard some people say they didn't like that character. So I think the people that saw the first one and loved it absolutely might have a different opinion than I do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's basically a new ditzy blonde-haired girl named Madison in the movie, alongside of a bunch of different other ones. But don't worry, I won't spoil it. She just made me crack up a whole fuck ton during the movie. Like quite a few, I don't want to say a fuck ton, but quite a few times she really made me laugh and enjoy the movie more.
Uh-huh.
They, of course, have a few cameos that should appeal to some of the fans of the first one as well. The original cast, of course, returns, and they're back to their pretty much old antics that they were always in. Tallahassee, Columbus, Little Rock, and of course, Wichita fall right back into their old ways in a lot of ways. A few things have changed, I guess, but I didn't really feel like it missed that much of a beat. I think everyone pretty much filled their roles like they were before, and that might have taken away from what it felt like how much time had progressed from the first movie.
Uh-huh.
Like, it didn't feel like time passed.
Right.
Other than fucking Little Rock being like 10 years older.
Yeah.
She went through puberty practically for that. They also had quite a few new running jokes for the whole film between them all, even making fun of some of the old ones from the first film too, which was pretty great.
That was funny.
But the comedy felt like it belonged with each other. So they definitely feel like they're both part of the same movie. It didn't feel jarring or trying too hard, although there may be some people out there that feel that way. They did have a lot of jokes, though, so I felt like sometimes they were just squeezing them in too much. Like, oh, you should just say this in the middle of this little moment here to try to add another little jokes here. Didn't it feel that way a little bit to you? Or
oh, yeah.
Like they kind of went overboard a little bit with it?
Just a little bit.
Okay. Some of the jokes didn't land 100%, but they were still, standing up,
They fit.
They fit. I think so, too. But I think the new jokes were really cool because of the new cast members, I guess. It spiced it up enough to make a new path for itself instead of just relying on old, tired jokes, mm-hmm. But still giving it that familiarity that you would want from Zombieland. But also, I loved what they fucking did with the goddamn zombies. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that didn't watch the trailer or didn't do any research, but let's just say it was a much welcomed addition to the story, comedic beats, and Zombieland.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's a natural progression. I think it really mixes it up and does what a sequel should in that regard.
Uh-huh.
Plus, they bring back all the fun things I liked about the first film with, like, the rules and even adding new rules and then use it to land some jokes even. They make fun of the rules in this quite a bit, too. So, which I thought was pretty clever. They have some different kills, from different people in Zombieland about their, kill of the week thing that they do, which was really fun. I feel like this movie in particular, though, is way more self-aware of itself than the other one. So that may not appeal to some other people. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like it knows that it's a silly comedy, so they kind of lean into it a little bit more.
Right.
So, which I personally think made it a better experience for me. So, I'd probably give this one, it's tough for me because I'm not like freaking out about it, but I still think it's a good movie and I had a good time watching it.
Right.
I would say about an 8, just because I think it surprised me. The fact that it surprised me is what brought it to an 8. But I think most people are going to feel around the 7 area. And it looks like that's what it is online. But, it had a few spotty parts that dipped, probably mostly at the end in particular, but most comedies dip at the end anyway, because they got to get this message of love and friendship and whatever else out of the way so that they can end the film. But for those of you who are like me, you might, if you didn't like the first one, I think you might really like it and you'll be surprised by it.
I think it could go either way. Either they're not going to like it at all. If they really like the first one, they're either not going to like it at all, or they're going to really like it. I think it's going to go either or.
It's confusing because I noticed that with the other movies, not just this one, that when I like a sequel and nobody else does,
right?
That's because of one specific thing. And I feel like because I wasn't a fan of Zombieland, like the first one, as much as everybody else, because there's people that think this is one of the best zombie movies that's ever been made. And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind, because I could name off at least 2 right now. But what about you though? What did you think?
Oh, I thought the sequel was really good too. I wasn't a big fan of the first movie either. It was just okay. Like you said, the beginning of the first movie was really good, and then it just kind of was like lackluster at the end. But this movie really makes up for it. I think the time difference, the 10 years, you can see how everyone really grew as filmmakers and actors.
Actresses,
they really knew their characters, and you were familiar with their characters. I even think they were better. But the whole script was just great. It flowed well. Yeah. I think that, like you said, some of the jokes didn't hit, and there were some plot holes.
But there was nothing that cringed. I cringed at.
Yeah, there was nothing to cringe at. And some of the plot holes, because with apocalypse movies, there's always well, what the hell? Why? But they acknowledge, it's like they acknowledge those things.
Right.
That shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But, in a funny way. And
they expand on it too, which I thought was really cool.
Exactly.
So you thought it was fun?
Yeah, it was fun. I would give it about a 7, 2, or 7 or 8. 7.5.
So what did you think of the first one then?
Yeah, the first movie, it was okay. It was really good in the beginning, and then it just kind of died. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't looking forward to going to this. I wasn't looking forward to seeing this. Of course I'm going to watch it. I didn't think I'd go see it opening weekend, but but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And overall, it was just it was a good movie. It was just a good movie. Good zombie movie too.
Did you like all the new characters? Is anybody
oh, yeah.
Did you think it was too much? Did you
yeah, I thought all the new characters were great, and I thought I was gonna get annoyed when they first started introducing the new characters, but it's like they grew on me. Like Madison, you mentioned Madison, she grew on me, and so did there's 2 other characters too, and they grew on me as well.
That's why it's hard for me to go, oh, Zombieland is like a 7. You know what I mean? The first one. But it is lower, and this one is slightly better than the other one.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? By a half a point.
Right.
Or maybe a point.
Right. I think so too.
That's why I was having troubles with it for giving it an 8. But if you give this one a 7, then I wonder what the other one was. A 6.5?
I give it a 5. Just because
you didn't like it? You thought it was that average?
Yeah, I thought it was average.
Okay.
I did.
Fair enough.
I totally thought it was average. And also, I remember when that movie came out because it was right at the peak of all the
So you wouldn't want to watch the first Zombieland again?
No. I would watch the first half an hour. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to spit on the director for? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I can't wait to see Venom 2. No.
Yeah, we had a good time watching that, actually, in a so bad it's good way.
Right.
Although the end was kind of garbage, but
right.
But yeah, so I'm surprised by that. I thought you were going to be a little bit higher.
Oh, nah. It was just... Oh, the sequel? Yeah, it was a good movie.
Okay, cool.
And we will buy it just because we have the first one, and
Right.
we are completionists.
Completionists, yeah.
Yes.
Well, and, I mean, honestly, it kind of elevates the first one for me now.
Yeah.
This one does. So it kind of levels them out
Right.
to like an 8 altogether.
Now, I have a question, because I was thinking about this. Do you think you need to see the first movie in order to watch this movie?
Yes.
Because I was listening to the radio, because I'm an old lady and I listen to the radio, and they were doing promos for it, and one of the promos was, you do not have to see the first Zombieland to see this movie.
Huh. Well, that's interesting because I think they're wrong.
Yeah, I do.
I can't agree with that because I'm such a nerd about that stuff. It's like counterintuitive to me.
I can see both sides because I'm not going to spoil anything.
No. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm pointing at you because I immediately think of Annabelle.
You're right. Why
don't you go ahead and tell them the story, Christina?
No. That's different.
I told her.
Okay, fine. So we were going to see Annabelle 2. What is that, Creation?
It doesn't matter.
I think so. And I had not seen Annabelle 1 yet. I didn't want to watch it because I read about it. And I was like,
we're not big fans of it either, but
yeah, we're not. It's, we got to see everything because we're just like that. We're completionists.
So this is where I get to bask in glory, guys.
So we got in a huge argument.
No, she got in an argument with me.
Yes, because he made me watch the first Annabelle movie, and it is so fucking bad. It is horrible.
Right.
Horrible. So then we go, and we literally watched it right before we went to Annabelle 2. And so we went to Annabelle 2.
Uh-huh.
And I'm glad I watched the first one because the way it ended, it went right into the second one.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not that it went right in. It looped back to the first one.
Yeah, it looped back to the first movie. So I am glad I watched it.
Right. And that's kind of in the same regard here. I feel like you're going to miss out on if you don't watch the first one, you're going to. I think it is a good base for this movie to sit on.
But I do think it's a good base just for the characters. I think you could watch this movie.
I wouldn't suggest it.
Okay.
You can feel that way, but I just don't think anybody. I think if you're going to watch these movies, you should at least watch the first one.
So it was just a marketing ploy to get people to the theater.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
I see no point to watch a sequel. I mean, when I was a kid, I watched sequels all the time when I was a kid. I actually watched most of the sequels before I saw in the 80s. Before I saw the originals. And that's why when I was a kid, I was such a fan of the sequels because I was like, well, they take it further in the second one, But now looking back, I'm like, man, I mean, you don't necessarily need to watch Freddy 1 and 2.
Exactly.
But it's to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But also Freddy's Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. It's one of my favorite movies, I mean, it's pretty close to the first one in a lot of ways. One started it all, but anyway.
We need to watch that. Dream Warriors.
We've never done it on the show. We've never done any of the that's going to be something that would take a long time.
No, I'm not talking about all. We don't. Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
No. We don't start a franchise and then just bail on it. That's why I'm saving it so we can go down the rabbit hole together or whatever.
Okay. Can we do spoiler review now?
Yeah, guys. So we're probably going to jump into our spoilers and trivia. I've kind of intermixed it. I'm trying to take a little bit more care. I had a little bit more time this week. Let's go ahead and jump into our spoiler section right now. We're going to go ahead and sound the alarm.
Please do not listen to this if you have not seen the movie. That's right, please do not listen after this. If you have not seen the movie, you will indefinitely ruin your experience. Thank you, and have a nice apocalypse.
It's The Purge.
So if you heard The Purge, have a nice apocalypse. But if you heard that siren, that means you are now into the spoiler section where we are going to spoil the shit out of this fucking thing. So you probably won't want to listen to this if you don't want the movie spoiled. And I think you should watch it without hearing us anyway if you haven't seen it. But, if not, totally cool. It's your fault. I blame you.
Yes. Okay, can we talk about the zombies?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I wrote every single type of zombie down so that we could talk about this.
Okay. Wait, so the way he explains the zombies is exactly how he does his rules. So
What?
yeah.
So he has homers, which are, you see it on the screen. It spells it out on the screen. And it had like the pink, donut with like the Homer Simpson looking donut, the fucking lad boys.
What all the kids do?
Lard lads or something like that. But anyway, it's the big donut. But these are essentially the dumb zombies that are usually pretty big, kind of Homer looking.
Slow. They're like slow zombies.
Yeah, they're obviously named after Homer Simpson. But they're super slow and dumb. Some of them chase butterflies.
That was funny.
Which is pretty funny. He's like, oh, no, 6 o'clock. Oh, wait, no. That's just a Homer.
Don't waste your ammunition.
Don't waste your ammunition, yeah. What'd you do? Well, after, how about I explain it, and then we can go over which ones we like the most or something.
Okay, yeah.
See what you think. They do a little segment for each of these, which is pretty cool. But they have another one called, they call them the Hawkings, which is the smart, clever zombies that can like solve problems and shit like that. And like overcome obstacles, named after, of course, Stephen Hawking. I think in the beginning, what did they show that one that was like trying to get into the door as this guy used an eye scanner to get in and the zombie couldn't get in.
I forgot about that.
Sucks out the eyeball of like a dead person on the ground and then puts it in its mouth and like scans it. And he's like, no. I thought that was pretty cool. That was
I did too. It's clever.
As soon as I started seeing these, by the way, I was just like, fuck yes.
Right.
I was like, this is what they needed to do.
Right.
Like, this is that extra layer that a sequel should always have. There should be go into more depth of what Zombieland really is.
Right.
Which I loved. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
They did a lot more of the zombie kill of the week.
Zombie kills.
But they changed it to zombie kill of the year. Yeah. Which are awesome.
Yeah, which were over the top.
I think they did like one zombie kill of the week and then one zombie kill of the year. To back and forth with Tallahassee or whatever. But anyway, there's more zombies. Of course, there's 2 more. Do you know which ones I'm thinking?
Wait, there was Homer and Hawking.
I forgot this one too until I actually did a little research.
Was there 2 more?
Yeah, there was 2 more.
I completely forgot.
Ninja.
Oh yeah, that's right, ninjas.
That's the one I forgot too. But this is the stealthy ninja. It's silent but deadly. Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, I think so.
Like he just like comes out of nowhere and like kills somebody.
Bites them.
I thought that was a pretty funny moment, but they never brought it back up in the movie ever again.
That's right. That's why I forgot.
Right.
What was the other one?
The T-800.
Oh, God, duh.
The biggest one in the fucking...
And why is it called T-800?
Because of fucking Terminator. That was the first sentient computer AI that went online for Skynet, I guess.
Was that the first Terminator movie? Or the second?
I think so. The T-800 is... Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a T-800. I'm pretty sure that... But yeah, basically named after the Terminator because they couldn't get killed. They wouldn't go down.
Right.
Even if they shot him in the fucking head, it would just keep coming.
Right.
Which I was like, holy shit, how are they going to fight these?
They're advanced.
Yeah, they've mutated. They're a special breed that has mutated to almost indestructible. They say, in the movie, there's like there's a stronger, faster, better adapted to the hunt zombie out there that they overhear from somebody, right?
I think so.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, some guy they met. I forget.
Yeah, I think it was the Berkeley guy that might have mentioned that there's a new breed.
Oh, okay.
But it could have been the other guys. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Might have been the like mirrored copy guys, you know? Mm-hmm. Some people in the first Zombieland came out, a lot of people were making comparisons to the video game called Left 4 Dead. They have like a couple sequels. There's 2.
Oh, and doesn't Left 4 Dead have a guy with a cowboy hat on?
I don't think so. No, but there's like 4 survivors that you play as, and I think that's part of the similarity. They didn't have different type of zombies in the first Zombieland, so you can't make that comparison to Left 4 Dead. But in this one, a lot of people were saying because of the different types of zombies that it was like a wink and a nod towards Left 4 Dead, and some people thought it might be in the same universe this. Well, it is not.
I thought of something that could have been from the same universe,
What?
or they didn't take from. So when they run into the doppelgangers,
Yeah.
it reminded me a lot of that scene of Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, you're right. Holy shit.
Right. But see, in Shaun of the Dead, it was a short scene. It was, they just literally ran into each other, and you could tell that.
I totally forgot about that.
And then, but in this, it's like they took it a step further. They took it a huge step further.
Right. Like they did a lot more with it, but they were like, those guys look familiar or something in the Shaun of the Dead.
Right. And then they were like introducing themselves, and their names were like similar to each other, Shaun of the Dead. But it's just like a whole other level.
What's going on, guys? Why are you stealing their shit? Just kidding.
But it was good. Even if they took it from them, I mean, they did a really good job doing that, because I thought like that whole doppelganger thing was going to be ridiculous. And I loved it.
I also liked how like a lot of the zombies kind of felt and looked like
Right.
they were more present in this movie,
Right.
than the other movie. They were kind of like just like backdrop for the first movie, and they kind of are in this movie too. But it definitely fulfills that little bit of a zombie boner if you have one, or lady zombie boner if you have one. I'm just saying, I'm trying to be inclusive here, so. But we do have some new characters too that I want to talk about, which, like I said, I thought they were going to ruin the movie, but some of these really definitely added to the experience. And the first one I want to talk about is the one that I'm pretty sure you do too.
Madison.
Because we kind of spoiled it in the car, because we were kind of like frothing at the mouth a little bit, or I was. She was like, no.
Wait.
And I was like, Christina, it's a day before we record. But Madison, yes. The ditzy blonde girl, kind of valley girl, who I thought was fucking hilarious. I thought she was a really good actress for that part.
Right. And her whole character reminded me a lot of like the whole when Paris Hilton was really popular.
Right.
And just how she talked. And
Very
she was wearing
2009.
pink. Yes, very.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, definitely. I was like watching an interview with her, and she was like, she's like, I really love the character. She's like, because everybody was talking about how fucking funny she was. And that on the set, she was the funniest one. And everybody couldn't keep their face, like keep a straight face and act because of the shit she was saying that was just making her like everybody laugh. And she was just like, and someone said, I think Fleischer was like, well, everybody was funny, and she was like, well, excuse me? I think I was the only one. I just got a compliment. I would like to take it, kind of thing. But it was funny. Like I thought she was really great. I thought she had some really comedic beats that bounced off of everybody one of the cast members.
Everybody, yeah.
And everybody had a different reaction for the most part. One wanted to kill him. The other one was kind of in the middle. Like Wichita was in the middle. Fucking Tallahassee was like always talking about killing her. And then of course fucking Columbus was like always standing up for her, even though he was like, God, she sucks. Like, oh.
One of my favorite parts is when they were killing her.
Oh,
you know
where she got the
where
she got the nut allergy or whatever.
Yeah, she got a nut allergy, and they thought she got bit and was turning into a zombie.
Well, immediately I knew it was a nut allergy, like immediately, because I saw her eating nuts out of the bag.
Oh, that's
with
right.
Wichita, they were eating nuts, and I was like,
I didn't know trail mix had nuts.
Well, then it kind of like when I saw her face and he chases her out into the woods, because he chases her out because Tallahassee and Wichita say that he should kill her.
Right.
He goes out there with the shotgun and apparently fires 2 shots over her head, but her eyes were like getting red. That does not happen with an allergy. So it's like they totally like...
Yeah, they fooled me.
Yeah, they kind of...
They fooled me.
They didn't fool me. I knew that it was a nut allergy. I knew she was going to come back. And I was like, man, I really hope she's not dead.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, because then you were like, oh.
Yeah, because like a lot of the new characters like kind of like went bye-bye really quick. So I thought she really did good with the characters, and just the idea that this fucking Valley girl has somehow survived the apocalypse for 10 fucking years, and of course chooses the mall like the Dawn of the Dead movie, and she knows she's
that's right.
and you know she's talking about the fucking remake.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but let's be honest. You may not agree with me, Christina, but the original is always the best. I absolutely adore the new one, though. It's one of the better remakes.
If I didn't fall asleep so many times during the original,
Yeah,
I
but
could
it's
just get through it.
all right. We're not going to get into that
asleep.
tangent right now. But I'm like thinking to myself, like, how the fuck does she fucking survive this? You know, but it's so great. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. The fact that she has survived makes her character infinitely more interesting.
When she was macing the zombies.
Oh, yeah.
With her
She saves
mace.
Wichita or whatever.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was funny.
We also had Berkeley, which is the pacifist hippie kid who sings songs and essentially steals Little Rock to basically take her away and be a bad girl, because she's never really had a child experience. She's never had a boyfriend.
Right.
She was like, I think they said something like, she was like, well, we met other people, but they were all bad. We couldn't do them. And she was like, well, they weren't all bad, but something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But they weren't allowed to get attached.
Right.
And she was like kind of mad at her sister, which I don't know if they were really sisters, but you know, they stuck together like sisters.
Right.
And she was like, it's just us, fuck everybody else. We'll think about ourselves, not anybody else. And then she gets married, you know, she's basically in a relationship with Columbus. So
Right.
of course she leaves with Berkeley to just like disappear. I thought he was a good role. Like, I think he was a good character role for what he did.
Right.
Some of the camera work and shots, like when he pulls that bag of fucking like weed, I was like, are we in like Harold and Kumar right now? Like with like jokey, funny bags of weed. But I mean, it is the apocalypse, so you would think
Right.
like there would be just shitloads
Right.
like of untouched
Unmanned,
weed.
yeah.
Yeah. But how the fuck are these fucking hippies surviving in the apocalypse?
Right.
We also have the Nevada girl who is, of course, Rosaria Dawson. She's an Elvis lover and a love interest for Tallahassee, which I thought was pretty sweet.
Right.
I liked that. I felt like he deserved it a little
Yeah,
bit. They
yeah.
all got their love interest.
Right.
Some of them got two. But yeah, like it was kind of interesting. What did you think between Rosario Dawson and him? Do you think that they worked well together?
Yeah, I really do.
Or do you think
they
she
worked-
kind of paled in his shadow or vice versa?
No, I think they worked well together. I believed it.
Okay. I thought she was pretty decent. She was a really strong, independent woman. She had like
Yeah.
really great shots in the film. Like
she
like was stoic and like powerful and like, but in the same regard, I feel like we didn't get to know her as much.
Yeah, that would have been nice to know her. But I did like how towards the end she came to save the day.
Right.
Like, I thought that was great.
Plus, we also have Albuquerque, who is, of course, Luke Wilson. He's kind of a bit more of a dickhead mirror of Tallahassee. Like, he's kind of annoying.
Uh-huh.
But, like, in the same regard, we're just used to Tallahassee, so kind of seeing them together is kind of weird. What did you think of that whole scene, by the way?
It was weird.
Because they have Albuquerque, who's, like, Tallahassee's mirror, and then Flagstaff, who is Columbus's mirror, who I thought he did a better job as a mirror person, like a doppelganger.
Oh, totally.
I thought they were like...
Right. Even their voices
Right.
were great. And then, of course, like...
The back and forth about their rules and commandments.
And commandments, yeah, that was great.
It is
That
a
was
little...
funny. It was clever.
Doesn't he make fun of him for calling him commandments? Because he turns into a zombie and he was like, your weird godlike thing about commandments and shit. And I'm thinking the same thing. Like, why would you call it commandments? Like, that is kind of weird.
Well, they couldn't call it the same thing. I mean, what else would you call it? I mean,
Checklist.
that's kind of... guidelines.
I guess so, yeah.
My Excel spreadsheet. No, I don't know.
So you thought Flagstaff did a better job? The actor, what's his name?
Yeah, Thomas Middleditch.
Thomas Middleditch, that's right.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I like him, and I love him in Final Girls.
Yeah, he was good in Final
He was
Girls,
really
too.
funny in that. I thought that was that, and I love that movie, and it's PG-13, which is even more crazy.
I think the amount of time that the doppelgangers were in it was perfect, and when the zombies come and they're like, we'll take care of this.
It might have been overwhelming if they stayed in the whole movie, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so. It would have got annoying. So I think it was perfect.
So interesting thing on this whole scene when they like meet, because you see fucking Albuquerque pull up and smash the Beast, his car, Tallahassee's car, that Little Rock stole with Berkeley. And apparently, like, they improv that whole for 2 days.
Oh, really? They like
2 days of
ad-libbed it?
shoot, yeah, to do that scene.
Oh, wow.
Because somebody had asked them, like, so was, he really loose with the script, or would you, were you able to improv a little bit on there? And apparently, yeah, they improved a lot for that specific thing to kind of get a feel for each other. So they were just kind of riffing on each other and making jokes and stuff, which I personally, again, I feel like, Thomas Middleditch and, of course, Jesse Eisenberg did really well. I know one thing I want to mention is that I always hear people say Jesse Eisenberg is like so simple and like anybody could play him. But
really? People say that?
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say it. Like, I mean, I kind of, and to be fair, I kind of felt that way at first until you actually listen to interviews and stuff with him. Right. Then you realize this guy is sharp as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, he lives in that improv element. And it's funny because later on I found out, after I came to this conclusion a little bit about Jesse Eisenberg, is that while he may not stand out entirely, like his whole shtick is kind of being that piece in a bigger puzzle. You know what I mean? He was helping everybody do improv in that scene.
Oh, really?
He was like, you should do this, da-da-da-da-da, because they were like struggling what to come up with and kind of improv with, and he came up with a bunch of suggestions. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And he was like, he was joking about it. They were like, yeah, it's probably because you're the zombie guy, right? You know everything about Zombieland. So, but I think he's really fucking funny. Like, and all of the interviews, he literally, him and probably Woody Harrelson are like the
fast.
But even Jesse is faster than him. But it's probably just because he's a young buck or some shit,
Right.
But Jesse was like really funny. Like, he's always like throwing out a joke. You know what I mean? He keeps those interviews really interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but I thought it was cool just to hear that he was a big part of like the improv thing. He admires people like Thomas Middleditch who are improv actors. Yeah, but those last characters were pretty short-lived, but the fight scene that they had with them when they turn,
right?
They're like all celebrating. He's got the fucking hat. He's like, yo, he gave him the hat. And then Jesse Eisenberg's character, fucking Columbus, is all jealous that he's like, oh, he let him wear the hat. And he was like, will you let me?
Can I wear your hat?
Get the fuck away from me. But that whole fight scene was cool because, like, in the first movie, they kind of worked together really well. But in this little particular moment, because they're kind of thrown off by their doppelgangers, like, everything doesn't go to plan. He's like, don't swing. And then he's like, swing. So it was like a nod back to the scene in the grocery store when he hits the one with the banjo.
I didn't catch that. That's good. Yeah, I didn't catch that.
But he misses, and the fucking and the doppelganger ducks under it this time.
Oh, okay.
So they're like wrestling. Apparently that took a long time to do that scene.
Oh, to make it exact.
To choreograph.
Yeah.
Like it was a
lot.
lot.
Like the first one, I bet.
As far as the beginning of the movie, though, did you like the opening scene, or was it kind of like, eh?
Okay, the opening scene, wasn't that when he started telling about the zombies?
Well, no, I don't mean that. When they finally, after they go through the zombies were cool. Like, we already know they do that in the intro.
Oh, that's the intro, which
right.
I think is the beginning.
Well, I mean, like, that seems to be a popular thing that they like to do in both their movies.
Right.
To show all these, like, scenes.
Right. So
like,
what part are you talking about?
When they're on the White House lawn. Because they kick in the music right then. It's like almost like a montage. Almost.
Oh, and then, okay.
They play Metallica.
That's right. Just like they played Metallica in the first movie. Was it the same song?
I don't remember now. Actually, no, the song from the first one, I was right, is For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh, okay.
For whom the bell tolls.
So that's really cool that they used Metallica songs.
Yeah, it is cool that they
in the first and the second.
Right.
And it's fitting. Like, I thought those two songs, they're fitting for those movies. Yeah,
I think they wanted to keep the same feel, and I thought it was a good, really quick way to get you back into the spirit of it. Although, like, all the explosions, they were so far away from everybody, but how do you do that? But then they did show, like, some blowing up and, like, missing arms and shit like that. So I thought that was cool. I don't know.
It was a cool scene.
It was nice that they went to the White House. Like, I knew that they had to pick another big house, and, like, they were like, well, what's bigger than fucking Bill Murray's house? Well, the fucking White House.
Yeah, well, it sounded like they were choosing places to live, like where everyone would want to live.
Right,
You
well,
know
they
what I
got
mean?
so tired of being cooped up and that because, like, apparently Columbus wanted to settle down with fucking Wichita. And when they find the White House, they were like, they felt like spreading their wings and just traveling the country instead of
Right.
just staying in one place. They were like, let's just see what's out there, you know? So they went on a run for that. And then they settle in the White House, and that's why everybody leaves.
Right.
So I don't know. I thought that was a cool thing that they picked the White House. I thought it was
Yeah,
funny.
I did too. I thought that was cool, and
Plus-
I like the set design,
Right.
and how it's like all overgrown everywhere,
Vines and
yeah.
shit. Yeah.
It's like all just. I wonder if it's still haunted. Like if during the apocalypse, I wonder if there's still ghosts in the White
I don't know.
House.
I think the ghosts become zombies too.
Oh,
And they
I
attack
wanna,
other ghosts.
I don't need. they suck out their energy.
It's an infection in the afterlife right now.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question because I don't know, it might be on your trivia, and this is something I wanted to know because it was in the first movie and then second movie, but it was never explained. Why did he put a number 3 on every car he drove?
So this is actually trivia from the first movie.
Oh, okay.
That why they do this is because he's a fucking NASCAR fan. He lives in Florida, so go figure. It's kind of like a big thing down there. But he paints a 3 on his cars as a reference to Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, and that was the number on his car?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
and both of the cars apparently in the first one were based off of Dale Earnhardt's colors.
Oh, it's
'Cause I think it was,
colors, like orange and
I thought
don't
it was. I don't remember either.
I'm
I don't
thinking
know that stuff very
I'm
well.
thinking of Dukes of Hazzard.
No, Dale Earnhardt was a fucking.
No, you said the colors of the car, and I was thinking orange, and I was like, wait a second, orange? No, that's Dukes of Hazzard, which is like completely like decades apart.
But yeah, he only puts it on the
nice cars.
No, he put it on the what was it?
He put it on the Beast, and then he put it on the
Yeah.
monster truck, but he didn't put it on the minivan.
and he put it on that other one that got the flat tires.
Yeah, the RV. He put it on
yeah,
the
RV. I just couldn't think of the words. Words, Alex. They were talking about the script in this and like how many years it took to like make this script. Supposedly I don't know if he was exaggerating, but he said they said it was about 12 times that they rewrote
wow.
the script. Yeah. So he said immediately after the first movie was done, they had like a kind of a rough draft of like a sequel.
Uh-huh.
And it got changed so many times because as people got older, you know, they had to change the story around a little bit, you know, like things changed and they're like, well, it's 10 years now. A lot has probably happened. So they kept having to update it and change it. And I think it was like, he said it was like 5 years ago that the director Ruben Fleischer said that they basically got the inspiration to want to do it again after around 5 years ago. And so they started like really updating it faster over the next 5 years to what we got now. There was a lot of things changed from the script, of course, because it just kept morphing and changing a lot. But so I don't even think the first rough draft after the first movie was anywhere near what it was. But
so one thing on that point I thought was funny. One of the jokes that was really funny, since you forget like 10 years is a long time, but when they were in the car and they were Madison was talking about, oh, she should create a website where you could call
an app.
No, not an app because they didn't have smartphones. She said a website where you could call on someone who has a car to come pick you up.
Strangers.
Yes, strangers. I thought that joke was hilarious.
And she was like, well, come on. They were like, that's stupid.
Yeah, they were like, that's dumb.
Because it's like, you know, like the zombie apocalypse happens in 2009.
Right.
Which we'll get into why it happened at the end of this. So if you're curious, there's actually some stuff that we didn't think about until after we got into the car.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. But anyway, but she's like, it's stupid. What are you thinking? Like coming up with an idea like that?
Getting into cars with strangers.
Like who would get into the car with strangers? So, come on, guys. The taxi industry has been really like stagnant for like a long time. When you know,
It was so hilarious.
she says one of the smartest things,
Yeah.
like, you know, some idea that like is like really good,
Yeah.
which is funny.
It was funny.
She's just full of surprises. I really like the scene where they're talking about the different rules when referencing Columbus's sexual conquests with Madison.
Oh, that's right.
I don't remember where they were, but he's like, somehow it references, he's like, yeah, I got to use rule number 1, cardio.
Oh, yeah.
She really enjoyed my cardio. I was able to keep up with it. And then he said, are you sure? Tallahassee's like, oh yeah, well, do you think she felt like 27 afterwards? And then it shows like, enjoy all the little things. I was like, that's a good joke.
Yeah, that was a good joke.
That was a good usage of, bringing all those elements together in the movie. That's one thing I really liked about this movie is that they spread it out.
Right.
Like they spread out all those like kills of the week, kills of the year, kills of the millennium, whatever, like all throughout it. So it felt like a more compact, complete story.
Which is how the first movie should have been.
Right. But I mean, granted, maybe they had less money and, they didn't know what they could get away with.
Yeah, they had a lot of producers and stuff that were like, no.
But that's why I like this one is because they do stuff like this throughout the whole movie instead of just like using it as a gimmick in the beginning and then letting it die at the end like the first movie for me.
Right. That was
like,
me too.
They do bring it up in the first movie. It's not that they don't. It's just it's not as omnipresent as it is in the sequel.
Right.
To me.
Yeah. No, it's not as cohesive.
Those things add to the tone of the film to me and make the film better because there's no other movies that do stuff like that.
Right. So
that's like a very unique Zombieland thing. Although I've seen similar things in other movies, but...
Right.
What'd you think of the scene with the T-800s that come fucking...
Oh, they all... You mean when they're at Babylon?
Just no. The first time they just introduced the T-800.
Oh, I thought it was good.
Did you think it was a good scene? Like it was like important?
Yeah, and they did it well when they were like, "What the heck?" And because the zombie wouldn't die. So
they're like, "It's still moving."
Yeah.
What the hell?
This must. Oh, and then they were like, "Oh, this must be that super zombie they were talking about, or something like that."
Right. I thought it was cool when he stomped on his head too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
And plus, then he meets Rosario Dawson. I think it was just after that, right? Don't they meet her?
Right.
Because they go to the Graceland.
Graceland, and then they start going away, and
okay.
They went to her hotel.
I'm just trying to think of the timeline here a little bit. I don't know. We're not going to point out everything, guys, but just some things. Is there anything that you can think of, another scene that you like? Or
Well, I was kind of confused at the ending when all the T-300s...
T-800.
When all the T-800s were running towards the building and they didn't have any guns, and I was kind of, what the hell?
Yeah, like
what are they gonna do? But then when they were killing them off, and then the monster truck comes, right? Rosario
that was
Dawson,
awesome.
Yeah, Nevada comes and rescues. Yeah, that was really awesome. That was a good scene. And
that was a very I don't know how she jumped the crate. To begin with, but it didn't matter because it was just fun. Because she would have slammed into the side and died. Let's be honest. Because no, wait, I'm wrong.
They did roll over.
They push the roofs down.
Right.
So they kind of make a ramp.
Oh, that's right. So they jumped it.
So that's how but that's thing would have crushed those. Yeah. That fucking wall.
Oh, and then when the monster truck was killing the zombies, running them over. God, that was so good.
Watching them go under the wheels, watching zombies go under wheels is just our thing lately.
Right.
We saw when we watched fucking Planet Terror when they were smacking all those, popping all those zombies and shit. It's just so fucking gratifying.
That was fun. And it made me think, the monster truck made me think, apocalypse movies, and everybody's like, why don't you guys ride bicycles? Blah, blah, blah. And I saw that and I was like, duh, monster truck. Why don't you drive a monster truck during the apocalypse?
Well, you would think, but it's of course, Columbus, Jesse Eisenberg's character is, of course, it's a rollover hazard, which it is.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's only supposed to go
that's
straight.
Right, he did say that.
It's only supposed to go straight at high speeds.
Oh, but at the end, when I was talking about how they were going to kill the zombies, I thought that was really cool. They got them all up to go up on that skyscraper, and then they all jumped at the end. I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I understand.
It was a little anticlimactic for me, but I definitely I feel like there could have been a much easier, fun, more tense way
Yeah, but they don't have guns or
I
explosives.
mean, it was cool that they were
or-
all smashing on the ground, but I feel like they should have, for one, they did show them getting smashed by items above.
Oh,
That
that's
was kind of
when-
cool,
oh.
too.
Well, that was them throwing stuff.
Right.
When they were
Toilets
running
and
up.
whatever else.
Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was a little, I'm not saying I'm being nitpicky
Oh,
here.
no, I understand it. I thought it was good for how the whole scene
For them to
progressed
call
with
it
Babylon.
Kill of the Millennium, zombie kill of the millennium. That's what he says at the end. He's like, he's like,
okay.
kill of the year. He's like, zombie kill of the millennium. You know what I mean? Like, because they do kill hundreds.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I guess they're kind of right. You know, like they got if you're basing it off quality or quantity, I guess I should say. Then and the effort that they had to put into leading them up the fucking path
Right.
to get to jump off the roof, you know, which was pretty cool. Some of the like hippie, I thought it was kind of funny. That was one thing I did liked about the hippie culture is like that they made them melt down their fucking guns.
into like little peace signs.
And he's like, why? No.
And that's something I learned from this movie because I gotta learn something from every movie I watch, and mine is never during the apocalypse. Don't ever give your gun away to get melted down. That's stupid.
Well, it's a funny idea, but I don't know how well it delivered on that. You know what I mean? Like there was
Right.
some funny moments in that fucking Babylon. Like they did kind of overuse the whole fucking no group sex joke. They used it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, they did overuse that.
And it was like, okay, like that's enough, you know, like I felt bad. I was happy for the guy who got to say it because he was like, this is my moment, you know, and it's like, well, they made you say it like 20 times, dude. So now everybody hates you. Sorry. He's like, fuck everyone. This is my moment. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I do want to talk about kind of a few things that happened mid-credit roll.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, they kind of spoil this in one of the trailers. Did you notice?
They did.
Because they showed Bill Murray, and I'm like, why are they doing that? They're like, you got to throw a little clip, just anything you got of Bill Murray, because if like he's in it, then people will go see the movie. I think they think that the only reason people watch the movie is because Bill Murray was in it, which in a lot of ways that is one of the highlights of the first movie. Like I absolutely loved that part in the movie, but it's not perfect.
Right.
It's funny.
It's just funny.
Yeah, like I thought it was funny when fucking Wichita's laughing because he's like, and she laughs as he's dead, and she's like, "Sorry, he just gets me." Like that's funny. But anyway, so the mid credits footage is of Bill Murray. Essentially, you hear Columbus talk, and he's like, "Wait." So we never really. I feel a little bad that I shot Bill Murray in the chest, and this was kind of like an earlier joke that they made. Obviously,
that's right.
He's like, so I feel like I need, in order for me to explain why it's not really my fault. Here's why I need to show you this before you make any assumptions about me. And so they go back to 2009, right at the start of the apocalypse. And they have Bill Murray getting interviewed for Garfield 3, Flabby Tabby, which coincidentally is what started the zombie apocalypse. Now, when we first saw it, we weren't making the connection.
Right.
It was like, we were just like, oh, the zombie apocalypse is happening outside, and it
came in.
It sets off in the interview with Al Roker.
I didn't even realize until after, the movie that Garfield Flabby Tabby was an actual movie. I was like, oh, they just made up a sequel.
Yes.
But no, it was an actual movie.
No, there was no Flabby Tabby.
Oh, there wasn't?
I looked it up.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Okay, so
there was talk of them doing a third one, but I think Bill Murray pulled out, and they were like, yeah, we got no pull anymore.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
So
there was only 2 Garfield movies.
Yeah, I looked it up today, but I'll double check again. There's A Tale of Two Kitties. There's Garfield from 2004, A Tale of Two Kitties, 2006.
Oh, okay.
And then they did cartoons after that. So.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. But yeah, so like we didn't get and understand why we didn't make the connection. Mm-hmm. And then on our drive home, we were talking about the end credit roll and a mid credits roll. and we were like talking about how it was okay. Like, if you guys have seen the movie by Jim Jarmusch, which is the Dead Don't Die, it's a zombie movie, obviously, with Bill Murray, but in the movie, they don't really fight him as much. So this is kind of your little, like, you know, thing that you can enjoy for Bill Murray fighting the dead. So essentially what we're trying to say here is that Garfield 3, Flabby Tabby, this made-up movie in this universe, is the reason why the zombie apocalypse started. Not where it started, but because of it. Because Bill Murray had sunk so low to pretending to have a hairball, because they all were like doing that, and then all of a sudden Al Roker starts turning into a zombie, and I'm like,
which was amazing.
Which is, yeah, that, like, it was all like real interviewers.
Yeah, it was.
Like from the real world. Like,
right.
And they had this little role asking him questions, and they kept asking him about the hairball thing. And that's what started the zombie apocalypse, which I just thought was amazing. I don't know if that's really what they're saying, but it just, in my mind,
it makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. Like, that Bill Murray had done something so horrible that it caused the zombie apocalypse. And that is infinitely funnier than what I thought when I first saw that scene.
Right.
And then he's like going through and being like, who are you going to call? Like smacking zombies, watching people. He's like kind of helpful, but also kind of just observant as he's like making his way through the zombies, right?
Right.
Like dodging around them and stuff, which is kind of funny.
It was funny. It was so funny.
So, by the way, that whole scene was supposed to be completely different. Now, for those of you who go to IMDb and like look who's going to be in the movies and stuff like that, you might have seen Dan Aykroyd was going to be in the movie. And somebody on IMDb added that from like an early rough draft, because apparently Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson were going to be in the film.
Wow.
When they had originally wrote the first...
Oh, the first movie?
No, for this movie.
Oh, for Double Tap.
So, yeah, I'm talking about the mid-credits roll.
Right. Oh, they were going to be in that.
In this movie's mid-credits roll, instead of Bill Murray doing an interview and causing the apocalypse because he did an interview for Flabby Tabby and did it, it was going to be the Ghostbusters on a golf course trying to convince Bill Murray to be in a
Ghostbusters.
In Ghostbusters 3.
Okay. Oh my gosh, how funny.
But
that would have been better.
They had the reboot with the girls doing it coming up. And then of course, later on, it was Ivan Reitman's son, Jason Reitman, who was going to be doing it. Supposedly, Dan Aykroyd becomes like a zombie and attacks Bill, and there are like golf carts going into the lake and golf clubs being swung at people. Apparently they had written Joe Pesci into a flashback scene. He would have been playing in front of the Ghostbusters crew, who basically would have hit their balls in his way because he was playing too slow ahead of them. Like on the golf course, I guess. And Pesci would have gotten really angry and hilarity would ensue. That's their quotes. But apparently Bill Murray wasn't even supposed to be in the first movie. They were actually trying to get Joe Pesci in the film, but they ended up getting Bill Murray, which I think, better. Yeah, that's a way better choice. I love Joe Pesci, but apparently they said the whole story for that is that Joe Pesci's like agent, they were like, it's not a very big role for Joe Pesci, and they were like, there's no role too small, just no money too big. Oh, just money too small.
That's weird, because what has Joe Pesci been in, like, in the last 10 years?
Right, well, that was 2009, so remember.
In the last 15 years, what has Joe Pesci been in?
Right, but they offered the role to Bill Murray. Mm-hmm. And what do you think of, like, the story, like, them doing it on the golf course? Like, do you think that would have been funny?
I think it would have been funny, them trying to convince him, but I think it would have been funny if they were actually...
Well, because they had Ramis pass away, too... during this time, and then the reboot.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked.
So they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to step on it because they were like, Yeah.
No, this was good. The Garfield thing is hilarious. I thought,
now that I look at it, like, Garfield caused the apocalypse.
Right.
That makes this movie so much better to me.
It really does.
It makes both of them better to me in some way.
Right.
I wasn't really too hot for Bill Murray's part at the end there. Like him fighting and stuff. It wasn't as like you know, like I love
Over
Bill
the
Murray,
top.
but it wasn't like, it didn't elate me. Like I
Right.
didn't get excited and like ecstatic about that moment.
But that kind of seems like what he would do in real if it was really
Right.
happening.
Well, that's his swagger. That's his
Yeah.
old school swagger.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in all these other
Observed,
movies.
yeah.
Where he's kind of like how Chevy Chase was, a little bit more physical
Right.
acting.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. They decided not to do it. I think it ended up okay that way.
Right.
I think it would have been a fun idea for sure, but I can see why they felt like, you know, it needed to be removed a bit, especially with Ramis, you know, gone. Might have been just a bit too much.
Right.
So I don't know how Jason Reitman is going to do and how he's going to spin his version. Apparently they might be passing the
Ghostbusters?
torch, to some new people. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you this, it better be better than the female reboot that nobody liked. Because if it's not, oh boy, that's going to be a rough one for him, man. Anyway, Zombieland Double Tap. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all we have, guys. Did you guys see the movie? Did you enjoy the movie? Do you agree with some of the things that we said? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
I would love to see somebody do this horror shot.
Oh, you know what I'd also like to ask you before we go? Would you want to see a Zombieland 3, knowing that they kind of went in this direction?
I don't know.
I'd be cool with it.
I don't know.
I'm not like hanging posters up on my wall and shit for it, but like I'd watch it. I'd go to the theater to see it, especially.
Yeah, well, I would see it. Of course I would see it, but I probably wouldn't have any expectations.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I'd watch it. So you're like, yeah, not really.
Nah.
Okay. What about you guys? Would you watch a 3 if they decided to make a 3? We'll definitely see by the amount of money that they actually put into this.
in.
Yeah, like if they didn't pull in enough money, if they didn't make at least 3 or 4 times the amount, if they make 4 times the amount on the movie, which I guarantee you is not going to happen, 43 times 4. You know what I mean? Like
Right, that's a
43
lot.
million, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
That's not Joker money we're pulling in here, you know what I mean? So odds are if there is ever a third one, they'll either cut back the budget and not make it what it needs to be,
Right.
or it just won't happen.
Right.
So, but
We'll
yeah.
see.
So,
So what's
This-
going on for next week?
oh, yes, we could talk about what we're going to do next week. Well, I'm glad that you asked, Christina. Let me look it up. I'm kidding. No. So we're going to be watching. I just don't know the years. So I was going to say the years so people could look it up because some of these are
That's a good idea.
very similar to other
Other films.
So I want to be a little bit more specific. So we are going to be watching from 1979 a movie called Prophecy. Prophecy. It's John Frankenheimer's Prophecy. It's actually from 1979, so if you want to look that up, it's on Prime, Amazon Prime, so if you want to check this out. These are going to be 80s sort of films that are like kind of like slaptastic kind of bad movies.
I'm so excited to see it.
And then we're also going to be watching Night of the Demon, not Night of the Demons like you might be thinking.
That's what I was thinking.
This one's called Night of the Demon from 1983.
Oh, God.
And it is a pretty interesting story. There's both of these essentially are Creatures in the Woods movies. And I thought it would be fun to watch these kind of like silly movies so we can make fun of it.
And it'll be good for Halloween.
Right.
Halloween week.
Well, we're going to be watching a lot of movies, sweetie, before the Halloween comes. As many movies as
Oh,
I can.
you mean other movies?
Yeah,
You
it's just
meant-
like fun time movies that we can enjoy that we don't have to do fucking reviews on.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
I thought you meant for the podcast. I'm like, how many movies are we watching?
So next week, guys, we're going to be doing 20 movies in one episode. We know that you're going to listen to the end. God bless America. I'm just kidding. Make the podcast better again. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm crying. We gotta go. I'm gonna pee my pants. I gotta go. I'm gonna pee.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming by this week. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you know somebody that would enjoy this episode, please share it with them. Tell your mother we said hello. I love you. Good night. And as always,
Long live the void.
podcast. Tune in every Monday from